Well, hello, welcome to the Client Catching Podcast. Now, on today's episode, what I want to do is talk about something that I find is a bit of a paradox when it comes to marketing and growing your business and all that kind of thing. Because what I found over the last sort of 17 odd years of doing this is that the paradox of successful marketing is it's actually quite simple. And that's why it's so hard. Now, it's simple because really there's only one thing that your marketing is there to do. And I like to sum it up in this kind of way, in that when you get your marketing right, what it does, it creates such a strong desire for your services within your ideal clients that essentially the act of selling, it's like welcoming a hungry, weary traveler into your home for a warm meal, right? Well, what I mean really by that, and said in another way, is that when marketing is done right, the sale isn't hard. It's what it ends up being is the sale. It becomes a welcome relief for your prospects, right? So maybe you're thinking, all right, Adam, that's a nice quote, but that doesn't really help me fix my marketing and get more clients now, does it? So of course not, right? And that's because when marketing doesn't work, it's usually because the creator of that marketing or the creators of that marketing have basically forgot to do the basics. And the entire ethos, right, that I started my company Think Like a Fish with is that you make everything in your marketing about the client or the customer, not about your business, right? And while I guess I think that it's fairly obvious why this approach is more effective, I actually don't think it's as easy as it sounds, because successful marketing starts from the ground up, right? It starts with your client and your customer, meaning that successful marketing, it doesn't happen by luck. It happens by design. And you've got to be very purposeful in your intent to do this, right? But the reason I say that maybe it's not out there as easy or as prevalent as it is, because I see so much marketing out there that is just purely focused on the business that created it, right? Or the product or the service that's being pushed or sold or marketed, right? It's not the person that's buying it or the company or the individual, right? And that's why I think a lot of marketing is doomed to fail before it even gets out the harbor, and you've got no iceberg in sight to blame, right? Because what I think this kind of marketing, it's metaphorically just doing an awful lot of shouting, right? That gets lost in the wind with everyone else, right? But I think that there is a better and more effective way though. And I guess the way to think about it is this, right? That your marketing has essentially three core functions, right? It needs to connect, it needs to educate, and it needs to change. And generally, it has to go in that order. Because think about it. If you can't connect with someone emotionally, you're not going to continue to, they're not going to continue paying attention, right? And if they're not paying attention, you're not going to be able to educate them about their current reality, the problem that they're facing, what's possible for them, all that kind of stuff. Meaning that basically they'll never be able to see what's possible or what potential outcome that or result that they can achieve by working with you, buying your service, investing in you, that kind of thing. And I guess plus that if you can't show or educate people how they can actually achieve that through what you provide, then they are never going to be able to change their current situation, right? So if you can't show this through your marketing, and that includes your copy, your design, your campaigns, and all that kinds of stuff, then you're really going to struggle to make sales at the level that you should, right? And I guess that, to me, it forms part of the paradox when it comes to marketing, because marketing is not just about making sales, right? And when I say that, of course, it leads to sales. But what I want to make clear is marketing is not about trying to convince or persuade or coerce people into buying something or doing something that they don't need or they don't want, or that, they just don't believe that they actually are going to benefit from, because that's just not the way it is. It's not about getting people to do the thing, something that they don't want to do, right? But instead, if you think about it this way, you only create your marketing from the perspective that it's there, the perspective that it's not there just to make sales. Or if you're thinking about it, right, no, marketing is not there to make sales, or you're thinking about marketing is there to make sales, right? Then you're setting yourself up for a real potential disappointment, because ultimately making a sale isn't in your control, right? Because The decision, whether or not somebody buys or not, it lies with your prospect. It doesn't lie with you, because it's just the way it is. You're not the one making the decision. The only things that you have control over is the process that brings your prospect up to that point of decision, right? And Google calls this the zero moment of truth, which is the moment that somebody researches. It's the moment in that buying process when somebody reaches the point prior to purchase where essentially they're either going to buy or they're not going to, right? So if you think about it from this perspective, the real purpose of your marketing is it's ultimately to give people clarity, right? It's to give them clarity on how to solve a problem that they already have, and one that they already know they want to solve, or show them how to achieve a result that they already want to achieve, right? Or realize a desire that they already have, so that when they reach this critical decision point, it's easier for that person to buy, not to buy, or go with somebody else if they're not a good fit, right? So that's why I believe that the ultimate aim of your marketing, it's to build trust, right? Trust that you are the best guide or the best solution to help your ideal client achieve what they truly want to achieve. Because at its core, great marketing, and I've said it a number of times before, it's all about transformation. Somebody's at point A, they want to get to point B with a solution, right? And that gap is the difference, and that's the transformation where you and your business or your service comes in. So if you think about your marketing from this perspective, and you put this at the core of what you do and what you say and how you say it, then you can start to put yourself in your client's shoes, right? And like ultimately, using my fishing analogy, you think like the fish, not the fisherman. You give them what they want, not what you want, and you show them the way to actually get to where they want to get to. So you paint a picture of how life is now, how it could be, and in doing so, you start to naturally attract more of your ideal clients as you show them, and you don't just tell them or shout at them, right? And basically that means that you get to show them how well you get them so they feel understood. And you're not trying to force feed them into something they don't want to, ultimately they don't want, especially if they're not hungry. Because once your marketing is crafted from this perspective, what tends to happen is when you put that right message in front of the right person at the right time, sales becomes that natural byproduct, because what you're really doing throughout all of your marketing is taking someone on a guided journey. And that guided journey is one of self-discovery. And I guess like every voyage of self-discovery, people only come to a realization or discovery when they're ready. And so the only real control that you have within your marketing is to help somebody along their own journey. Help them find their own path. And when they do, you're there as a helpful guide, right? And if at any point along that journey they're not quite ready to buy at a particular point, then of course that's okay. Unless, of course, you give up, right? And that's where the whole follow-up piece comes in and all that sort of stuff. So you've got to think that with every contact you make with a potential client, make sure that at the very least, you're moving them just that little bit closer to the point where they can make the decision to buy or not to buy. And, that can even go a little bit further. You are taking them on a journey. So a lot of people think, right, marketing is there to, as I say, make the sale. Well, it's not. Really good marketing, it's got this idea or that journey, the client journey planned out, and you are simply trying to get them to take the next step in that journey, right? And I guess said in another way, that guided journey or discovery, it's really how you show a potential client that when they buy your services, you'll give them a faster, less stressful, less embarrassing solution to the problem they're facing, or a quicker way to achieve the result that they're actually looking for, right? And that is totally different to how a lot of marketing is done. So I think it's a great opportunity to sort of take this thinking on board and stand out, because you can do it differently, right? So go and take it. And then what I want you to sort of think is right, that is when you'll start to watch your ideal client turn up on your door, essentially hungry, tired, and ready for the warm meal, right? Which is what your service and your business ultimately is. It's a welcome relief, right? They're cold, they're hungry, they want to, they need some food, right? And that is the solution to their problem at that point, right? So I hope you found that helpful. If you want some more ideas on maybe exactly how to do some of this and a few tactical steps that you can take, then I encourage you to grab a copy of my book, Conversational Relationship Marketing, which is on the podcast gift page at thinklikeafish.co.uk/podcast gift. And inside there, you will find a ton of great ideas to actually start to do this, how to craft your journey, how to build relationships, build trust with your ideal prospects. So I encourage you to go and grab a copy of that, and you'll see a lot of other examples of some free gifts that you can see on that page. So please do go and help yourself. So if you do, please do get in touch and give me some feedback. Tell me what tell me what you like, tell me what you didn't like. Do that with the resources, with the podcast. Make sure if you haven't done so already, please hit subscribe and tell me what you think of the podcast. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. Just search Mr. Adam King, and it'd be great to hear from you there. So that's it from me this week. Until next time, as usual, happy fishing.